Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Our patient is a Asus Tough Gaming B850M. This is one of those smaller boards with just one PCI Express and one short one. So everything relatively packed together. It's a nice small form factor. We got built-in Wi-Fi and plenty of USBs and onboard LAN adapter and a very nice board, AM5 socket. It came in for the socket replacement, but here's what the customer wrote. Hello, I've been watching your YouTube. I didn't even realize you ran an eBay shop. Anyways, what's the difference between assembled, not assembled? Also, I just received a motherboard I thought / hoped would be a BIOS fix. But upon closer inspection, I noticed some flux marks and BIOS didn't fix it. I'm 2/3 on BIOS being the fix. I'm assuming it's a botched replacement as the pins are immaculate. Is this worth sending to you, or since it was previously worked on, it's not worth trying? So here is the state of the socket. So the flux marks that the customer referred to is not flux. Yeah, like this. That's not flux, that's just sweating. This socket has not been replaced. It doesn't look like it, and you know, since I do it a lot, there's no way to clean it this well. Yeah, there's no signs of resoldering. So I conclude that this socket has not been replaced. So what can be the problem? Well, just so happens that recently I received a whole bunch of gifts from Tony from Northwest Repair, and one of them is the power cable. So this allows me to see exactly how much power the board consumes. I was going to build my own power adapter that would tell me the amount of power going to the board. I also wanted to separate how much of 12 volts it gets, how much of 5 volts, and that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's necessarily very important. The majority of the voltages are created from 12 volts, right, for like CPU and stuff like that. I assume some are created from 5 volts. All right, so we got one current sensing circuit, essentially. How much 12 volts are we grabbing? That's way more than what we had before. We also have a PCI Express tester. Now, judging by the chips and the button and 12 volts, it works probably the same way the tester for the cards actually works. So it just measures voltage drop. That's that would be my guess. And the most important stuff, the memory testers. So this is DDR5, that's what we need, and this is DDR4. I'm not sure why we have both sides over here. Not sure if there is a difference. Hard to tell. And we have LEDs and the battery. So Tony said that when using this, the board needs to be completely disconnected. So just the CPU in and the memory tester. So let's start with that. So the board came without the brackets, so we have to put one on. Then let's put the CPU in and DDR5 memory. Okay, and supposedly now we should be able to see something. And I don't know, some LEDs are shining brighter, some are a little dimmer, but they all turn on. You won't be able to see that, maybe. But they're all lit up, so I would conclude that the socket is fine. Also, mainly based on visual inspection. There's no way someone replaced the socket and did it this well, you know. Also, you know, the stickers and like, you know, I can tell. You know, maybe the RMA people can't tell, but I replaced hundreds of sockets, so I can tell. And this one doesn't look like it was replaced. So let's put some DDR5 16 gigs in the board. And let's see how much power it grabs, if it fluctuates and stuff like that. And that's going to tell us something. I don't know what yet, but the main idea behind this is that you can actually know how much power is going to the board, which means if you have working board and not working board, you can do a quick comparison, how much power it's grabbing. Then thermal image, see what's getting hot and see what's getting hot on the working board. And with just those two tools, you can quickly diagnose at least where the problem is, right? So if it's not grabbing enough power, something's not turning on. Maybe some validation, right? Maybe there's a short and it turns off. If it's grabbing too much power, there's a short on, you know, like EC chip shorted. It's usually supplied with linear regulator, so it's not like it's going to turn on off when it detects shorts. So with just those two tools, you can do a lot. Alrighty, one thing that is a little bit concerning is that this cable is very short. On this board, it works, but this is the largest board or the largest distance between the main power connector and the V-core can be. And some boards have it farther away. So this should be done a little longer. But now let's see the voltage. We got 12.3. Let's reduce it a little. 12.2. Now the reason we're over voltaging is because the cable is a little long. And my max current is set to 400 milliamps. That might not be enough, so let's do 1 amp. CPU fan so we can see. And first I got a postcard plugged in as well to PCI Express because I don't see the diodes, which makes it a little harder to diagnose, obviously. But hopefully the postcard is gonna tell us something. And we got 2.2 watts of power drawn. So let's see on the thermal image. That's probably an EC chip. It's a little much, 2.2 watts, so that's 185 milliamps of current being drawn. So that's a little bit much for EC alone. Yeah, something. Yeah, we got linear regulator, relatively warm, but nothing alarming. We got some chip next to USB. That's normal. They usually behave like this. Actually, it's probably not the USB, it's probably the LAN. So the computer can wake up on LAN signal on demand. Okay, and nothing else. So let's put the multimeter on the screen. So memory voltage is not going to be there at this point, I would expect. Yeah, and this is DDR5, so it's gonna get 5 volts, right? So let's see if we can put it. I don't remember which pin. Oh, that's weird. It just spun for a little while, and it's dead. There's no power button on the board. But maybe it required more than 1 amp, and that's why it turned off. Could be. Let's put it on 2 amps, just to because we know there's no shorts or anything like that, so we can increase the current. Because very likely it just didn't boot because the fan span for a second. So I would conclude that this was a power failure. Yeah. That's what it was. We're grabbing 1.2 amp, 15 watts. Our memory voltage is 1.11. It's a little low. Oh, there are some LEDs over there. I got 00 on the postcard, and we do have some LEDs over here. So looks like we are stuck on DRAM. I'm not sure because VGA and boot, they're just kind of too close, but it usually goes CPU, DRAM, VGA, and boot. So CPU, VRAM, VGA, and boot. That's what I would expect. But this looks more like a cap than LED, but I'm pretty sure that's an LED. So memory problem, and the postcard says 00. The LED is the reset LED is stuck. CPU is not warming up, and we have 8 millivolts on V-core. Let's see the thermals. Yeah, nothing really suspicious here. 15 watts of power drawn right now. Let's hold the power button, see if it turns off. It turns off. So DRAM LED stayed on even after turning off the board. So that's weird. Never seen that before, but let's test the other slot. And it goes directly to RAM. And the postcard says nothing. Unfortunately, there is no TPM header on this. So I can't connect it to TPM header, because usually that gives you, or at least in my experience, it gives you a little more information. Let's plug it into the big PCI Express. I don't think that's gonna make any difference. Yeah, it makes no difference. CPU staying cold, and we're stuck on RAM. So with RAM issues, so definitely that's not gonna be a BIOS issue, right? Because we wouldn't be stuck on RAM. Correct me if I'm wrong. The tester kind of indicates that everything is fine. How is my RAM stick compatible with this board? I got this RAM stick following the recommendation for compatibility. So it should work with essentially everything. Oh, we got higher power consumption now. Why is that? We went to 16.4 watts. When I stick the RAM in the other. The voltage on the RAM is a little low, right? Wouldn't you expect 1.2? Let's see, without the stick. I don't see anything heating up, so maybe this is cap issues. We're testing directly on the coil, so you know that kind of is not the best, but yeah, 1.11. That's a little low. What was that? All right, so I'm not sure what this could possibly be, other than maybe it's the caps issue. But on the other board that we have, that we identified that the caps need to be replaced, that one at least posted a few times, right? Especially when you like touch the coil and stuff like that. This one goes directly to RAM, so it doesn't even light up the CPU. So this could be a EC issue or PCH. Power consumption seems okay to me. We have V-core on 0.8, so it's kind of like, you know, waiting to be woken up. Since the memory tester says that the memory is fine, I think this will be a voltage issue. And should it be 1.11? That's 900 millivolts below what we expect, right? Because it should be 1.2. Or should it be 5? I was expecting 5 actually. So maybe that's the issue. But this is what I can offer as far as the board diagnostics, at the moment at least. And all of that thanks to Tony's generosity. So now I can do a lot more essentially. And the main usability is the ability to know how much power is going into the board. So this is especially awesome. And obviously the memory tester helps a lot as well. And I got DDR4 and 5. So yeah, Tony's trying to push me into the direction where I can actually test some stuff after I do it, especially for the socket repairs, because I don't test that. I don't test the sockets. Okay, unless so I'm gonna hold on to the board for a little longer. Obviously, I'm not gonna be replacing the socket because I don't see anything wrong with the socket. This is also not a BIOS issue, although BIOS problem could be on top of whatever problem we have over here. I expect that it's the power delivery for the memory, but let's wait for some feedback from you guys. Maybe you can push me into the right direction. Maybe you have schematics for this board. Then perhaps from the schematics we can find out what the voltage should be as opposed to what it is. So there you go, a quick diagnosis of the motherboard, all thanks to Tony's generosity. Thank you again, Tony, and I shall see you guys in the next one.